New reports from the fourth period reveal that the Montreal Canadiens may be willing to move a forward before the beginning of the regular season. We'll be going over all the new stuff we have in this video, all the new news about the Habs, but before we get into it, we noticed that 97% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so if you're looking for a spot to get all the news from your favorite team and around the NHL, you're in the right spot. Make sure to stay a while, subscribe to the channel, turn on notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the breaking news from around the league. But back to our main story here. The Montreal Canadiens may be willing to move forward before the beginning of the regular season. Now, I'm aware, and I'm sure pretty much every Habs fan is aware, that the Montreal Canadiens have a lot of players. On forwards, the defensemen, they have a lot of players that I think could crack the roster this upcoming season. But this came out from the fourth period's David Pagnotta from TSN 690. He noted his curiosity as to how the Habs round out their four lines during camp and whether that could result in a move before the start of the season. Yoel Armia was subject to trade chatter at the end of last season, and he has 2 years left on his contract with a cap hit of $3.4 million. Could be a candidate to be traded in this team for a team that needs, a third, fourth line winger, maybe even a second line winger. He's probably capable of doing that. But I can see him being one of the options. The Canadiens have just over $6.17 million in salary cap. But after the LTIR moves, putting Carey Price on there, and Christian Dvorak, who will be out for about the first month, they'll have probably around $5 million in cap space without a trade of someone like Armia. But the Canadiens also have a lot of defensemen at camp as well as forwards, but they have a lot of flexibility of what they can do heading into this upcoming season, whether they want to move some people, trade some people. They got a lot of stuff they can do. Waiver claims, putting people on waivers. They don't have to go through waivers for a lot of the defensemen. So they have a lot of stuff they can do. But Yoel Armia likely will be the candidate for the offense if they were to trade him. He's 30 years old. The Montreal Canadiens are kind of distancing themselves from that Stanley Cup run they had a few years ago. But not even so much that. They're getting rid of a lot of the older players they have. Yoel Armia is 30 years old. Josh Anderson, who's 29, but I don't really see the Montreal Canadiens trading him, as he's being pretty much a big part of the first two lines with these young players. They have like Alex Newhook, Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Kirby Dach. He's going to be a big part of their development through this year. I'm very confident in saying that. So I don't think Josh Anderson will be a bigger trade candidate for the Montreal Canadiens. But Yoel Armia, yes, I can absolutely see him being part of the Montreal Canadiens' opportunities that they have presented going into this season for possibly being moved, because like I said, they're very, very, very busy on forwards. I'll show you right now. Here are the players that they have currently up into the in the NHL. This is for as camp as well. So you have the recent addition of Tanner Pearson that they got in the trade for Casey DeSmith, and they have Jesse Alone and Michael Pezzetta. Juraj Slafkovsky, who got hurt last game, back off the IR from the end of last season, but he's back up. A lot of players here you can see that can make an NHL roster, and all these guys will not fit. So some moves will have to be made. There's also a lot more names that are not on the cap-friendly Canadiens side of the contracts rather than Laval. But there's a lot of players that are capable of being moved, and on defense as well. You can see, I believe there's 10 here or something. Once again, all of these guys pretty much capable of playing in the NHL won't be able to right off the start of camp. And I'm sure they're not going to want to keep a lot of people, just scratched. So they're going to have a lot of opportunities to make some moves. David Savard I don't think is going anywhere, although he could be certainly a candidate in my mind. Getting older, pretty slow. Obviously, the Stanley Cup experience with Tampa is a huge part of development for these younger guys, as well as Mike Matheson, another very, very disciplined player, a very experienced player around the NHL. I think those two guys probably won't be going anywhere. Chris Wyden probably won't be on this team. I don't see him making an NHL roster with some names here like Caden Gooley, David Reinbacher, I think might start in the NHL this year as well. But David Savard, Michael Matheson, I think pretty locked in on the defense side of it. But like I said, the forward side of it, a lot of names that could be moved here. Right now, I'll just show you what the lines they have here are. Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, Kirby Dach on the first line, Newhook, Dvorak, Josh Anderson. Those top two lines, pretty good, obviously. There probably will be some changes throughout them, depending on who's going to be where, but that's likely what it will be for the top five at least. Maybe not Dvorak, but then you have Slafkovsky, Evans, and Gallagher, Harvey Pinard, Monahan, and Yoel Armia. Yoel Armia, see, he's a fourth liner, making $3.4 million. The Canadiens don't really need him. I'll say that for confidence. You know, he's not really an integral part of this team other than, I guess, experience, but he's not a player the Canadiens really need. So if they do go and trade forward, Yoel Armia's the guy, but you can see defense here as well. Matheson and David Savard, that's a pretty solid first defensive pairing. And now is where it gets a bit tricky for the defense. It's obviously going to have to make some moves here. Jonathan Kovacevic, Caden Gooley, Jordan Harrison, Arber Xhekaj. Some moves will be made there. But the Canadiens, I think it's a very good opportunity for if they want to trade Yoel Armia. They don't need him. I think they won't get a major return for him, but they could definitely get maybe a few picks, maybe a young prospect who's been struggling a bit. Won't be any special prospect, but someone who could maybe crack the lineup at a younger age than Yoel Armia. And there's lots of opportunities they can go for. Like I said here, over the cap right now by $6 million, but once Carey Price gets put on that, it'll be about $4 million, and then whatever other changes they'll have to make. I think it'll be good going for the Montreal Canadiens. Now, obviously, I made a video on this a week ago or so about some possible moves the Canadiens can make, but they're not going to be in a playoff spot, nowhere near. I think they're going to be at the bottom of the Atlantic again, but they're certainly heading in the right direction. So if they were to make a trade before the start of the season, I think it would work. It would obviously help with what they have going, to get some younger guys in, get some more experience in the NHL, but they don't need to. There should be no rush to get rid of a player. They're obviously not trying to get to the cap by the deadline or nothing. They're not supposed to be not trying to make a playoff run at least. This is just for development. This is a development season. A lot of younger guys I expect will make the roster this year, opposed to some of the older people. They're kind of heading into that new phase where they got the rebuild done, they got the players they want, and now it's just trying to feed them into a lineup, get them the experience they need, so they're not going to be coming out rusty when they're trying, not rusty I should say, but inexperienced when they're going for when it matters, you know? So I think the Montreal Canadiens may swap a lot of people in and out of the lineup, I should say, in the bottom two lines of forwards and bottom line of defense maybe. I see a lot of players, a lot of younger guys trying to get a few games here and there. Someone might be playing bad a few games. Sit them down, you know, let them watch, let them get a feel for the game by not playing and looking instead of watching what they're going to be doing and just feeding the younger guys in. I think it's going to be a very good year for the Montreal Canadiens development-wise, not so much points, obviously. I don't think anybody thinks the Montreal Canadiens are going to do very good with the points this year. But like I said, to finalize this, I know I've been rambling a lot, but a move is not necessary, but it would certainly benefit the Montreal Canadiens. You know, I think Yoel Armia probably a trade candidate rather than letting his contract expire at the end of next season, but, you know, we're going to have to see what happens. There's no rush for the Canadiens. There's no importance in making this trade. I'm sure they're not going to get much for him, but there's not much he's going to hinder on this team, apart from maybe a spot from a younger guy who you might want to get some experience from, get some trials, I guess, trials and tribulations through what he's going to go through. But let me know down below what you think the Montreal Canadiens will do with Yoel Armia, if it is Yoel Armia, I should say. We know it might be another forward, but I don't really see the Montreal Canadiens making a move for on one of these younger guys. You know, they don't have too much skill on this team right yet. I think they will in a few years. There'll be loads of talent on it, but the skill isn't there yet. They're all very young, so you don't want to waste someone away. But let me know down below what you think if a move happens on the forward side, who it will be, what they might get for in return, where they might go, you know, all of that jazz. Let me know what you think below. That's all I got for this video. If you liked it, make sure to give the video a like, and also make sure to subscribe, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you do not want to miss out on any breaking news from around the NHL. That's all I got. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. See you later.